Hey again, everyone. Welcome to another Name in Progress with me, Georgie Baker, and Baker Odom as well. We're all pretty tired at our end here today, so we're going to make this as good a show as we possibly can. We've also got a guest this time as well, and it's Aaron from Boards Alive podcast.
Hello.
Uh,
Oh, you all right, Jordy? You losing us?
yep, still here. Sorry, there we go. I had system issues. Everything just froze all of a sudden, and then my YouTube
Yes,
started
we're
playing
off
in the
to a great
background.
start. This is working out well.
I thought I was supposed to maybe say more other than hello. I don't know. It felt awkward. I was like, am I supposed to talk now?
No, so now I believe there's going to be no more technical issues. This should be us. Apologies for the lateness,
What?
everyone, as well.
Don't
Mostly
say
my
that.
fault.
If you say there's no more technical issues, then like everything's gonna go wrong.
Well, no, it's your fault, Baker, if it does. Apologies for the lateness in the show. It's my fault, pretty much my fault, but then we're going to blame Aaron as well because he took so long to connect at the end.
That's right. After we made Aaron wait 45 minutes to start the show, he then was the last one to connect. So it's
Yeah,
pretty much, right?
yep. I agree.
I'm a busy
Okay.
guy. I got stuff to do. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so I think we should just start off by going through what we've been playing, what we've been enjoying, sort of the last couple of weeks. Baker, do you want to take us away with that?
Sure. Yeah. Actually, the most recent thing I played was just a couple days ago. I finally got a full conquest of Mage Knight in, which was exciting because I've been playing it solo a lot since I got it. But I got a buddy into it, and we actually sat down for like 3.5 hours and played a full conquest, which was pretty incredible to finally get one of those played. And the best part is he actually really likes the game, so we should be able to get more of those done in the future. But getting that played was probably one of my big goals for the near future. So that's done. So now I got to find other life goals.
Awesome. For me, I think the last sort of bigger game that I played some Runebound Third Edition.
Mm, nice.
Wasn't as impressed as I.
No?
No, the whole token chucking experience was, I don't know, I think there should be like a better mechanic for it. I get why everyone really enjoys it. I like the heroes, I like the skills that they have, I like the monsters that you fight, and I don't know, it just seems like there's something missing from it for me. And we played it 3-player. It's quite a long game but in itself anyway, but it's something about it that just didn't really do it for me. Other than that, I've been playing Friday, the solo game, because I haven't really had a chance to get
That's
much.
based off of the 1990s movie Friday, right? Is that?
Uh, I don't think so.
No? Oh, okay. I don't know. I've never heard of
Wait,
Friday the board game. I just assumed it was, you know.
Oh, Friday's the Robinson Crusoe stranded on an island.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
That's way
Fight-
different than the movie I was thinking about.
fighting off cannibals and exploring shipwrecks and all sorts of crazy stuff, all while trying to manage your food. And yeah, it's a really fun solo game. It is a solo game, but it's really fun. I've been enjoying it, and I've been given that game Jurassic Attack as like a Kickstarter that I backed ages ago. A couple of tries. I'm still not super impressed with it. It's okay, but we'll see. I'm gonna try some more of the promo cards and stuff that we got with it. So see if that maybe adds a little bit to it. Other than that, that's pretty much what I've been playing. Now, Aaron, before you go on to what you've been playing, I think you should give us a full introduction to who you are, what you do, and basically like how long you've been doing it for, why you decided to do it. So yeah, let's go for it.
Cool. I am Aaron. I'm one half of Boards Alive, which is a podcast that my friend Quinten and I do. He was going to be on here with us, but he lives with his girlfriend in a fairly small space, and it's very early, and so he didn't want to keep her awake. Or wake her up, actually. And he was going to do it from his car, but we tested it last night, and it sucked. So he's not here. He feels really bad that he couldn't come. But, yeah, we do a podcast where we kind of focus on theme in board games and how the theme of a board game connects with its mechanics. We released, like, twice a month, like a main podcast that we've been doing for almost 2 years. We're a few episodes away from our 2-year anniversary, and we talk about, like, we do a full review of a game, we do a big discussion about it, and then we often have a rotating idea of, like, an RPG discussion or a board game discussion. We've done like a D&D campaign on the podcast. My wife comes on sometimes. We have some friends. Every 5th episode we do a guest interview. So we recently interviewed Jamie from the Secret Cabal and Patrick from Blue Peg Pink Peg, and we talked about, like, how you can create a podcast. The reason we did the podcast in the first place was because I think at this point I've kind of realized that we just wanted to be more a part of the board gaming scene, right? We were big time consumers of media. Like, I listened to lots of podcasts, and I watched lots of videos when we started. I don't watch as many videos anymore. No offense to you, gentlemen. I'm very, very tight on time in my life. I have 2 kids, and they're little kids, so I don't have a lot of time right now.
Kids will eat up your time, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, so much. But we wanted to be a part of the world of board gaming and in the media and that kind of stuff. And so I originally, like, way back, like 4 years ago, I almost started a video series about, like, it was going to be like stop motion board game playthroughs, and that's why it was called Boards Alive, because the boards were coming to life.
That
and
sounds
like
incredibly tedious.
Oh, it was. I did it. I did it, and it was, like, brutal. It was like, oh my goodness, this is an amazing amount of work, and it just wasn't. It wasn't good enough, and I'm not good at editing video almost at all. So I just scrapped that, and I kind of sat on the name. My friend had done the logo for me, and another buddy had done the theme song, and I was like, man, I got to do something with this. Like, it's cool. It's too good to kind of pass up. So I threw the idea at Quinten, who was, like, my board game buddy, and I said, hey, why don't we try a podcast? I mean, we can talk about stuff. We're both teachers, so we talk all the time. We're used to talking in front of people. So, why not do it for the internet to hear? So that's kind of how we started. And it's been awesome. I love it. I get to do things like this, where I get to hang out with cool people and talk about board games and be a huge nerd.
So how long have you been doing it for now, I don't know, overall?
This will be the 22nd month. We just finished our 22nd month. We've done 45 main show episodes. We've done 3 RPG, like a show that we kind of started called Boards Alive Plays, where we played through the Star Wars Force and Destiny beginner game. And we also started a podcast, every month we do a 3rd podcast now, and it's either our Boards Alive Plays, or if you've ever listened to it based on Baker's submissions that he's done in our contribution to our Boards Live Monster Mashup. And that show is all about, mostly it's not actually about us, it's about our friends and the people in other podcasters and video people that send us contributions, like 5 to 10 minute segments talking about pretty much whatever they want, and we kind of are like the radio DJs that are splicing it all together, and my wife does some silly review segments that she throws in there that are like 30-second reviews, usually about games that she thinks suck. And
those are pretty awesome.
Yeah, they're really good. And we throw in like occasional things. Quinten does like a rant, and we do like a game of the month and stuff like that. So we've done, overall, I think we've done 53 episodes in the last almost 2 years.
Wow, so you guys have been going at it quite long. I mean, your episodes, a lot of like your main podcasts that you do, they're not little 10, 15-minute podcasts like you see some people putting out as well. They are like full length episodes.
Hour, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Usually longer.
Mhm.
I've seen some go, what, 2.5, sometimes longer there, is it?
Yeah, the
So,
latest one with Jamie and Patrick, because you get four guys that like to talk in one room. We or not one room, but like on the internet. But yeah, that was almost 3 hours, and I think that's the longest episode we've ever done. It was
It's very
like
secret
two.
cabal of you.
Yeah, I know. It was a long episode, so it was really good. We had a lot of fun, but for those guys, I'm getting retribution because we made them stay up until about 2 in the morning to record that because we're on
Oh,
the
nice.
West Coast. So now
Yeah.
talking to you guys, it's well, it's only 6 now, but when I originally got up for this, it was about 5:15, which is not a time that I normally wake up at.
oh well, I guess in other words, if Jamie from the Secret Cabal, if you're watching this, you're welcome.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Awesome. So, I mean, you guys have really been going at it with the podcast, and you're doing a great job as well. So, guys, whoever's watching this, when you watch this, certainly go and check it out because you're supposed to up on BGG as well every time you release a new episode, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
we try. I mean, I try and cross post and stuff. Our biggest media outlet would be Twitter, just because we've found that it's easy to connect with people and keep track of. We have like a Facebook, like you can get us at Boards Alive or Facebook.com/Boards Alive, but all we really ever do there is post links to the episodes. We don't really interact on there very often. It just has not become something that we use. I don't know why. I think it must be our super young generation of using Twitter instead of like Facebook. We made fun of Jamie on the last episode about how he's like, oh, I suck at Twitter, and I was like, yeah, we're not old, so we can use new technology. So, but yeah, so you can find us at Boards Alive on Twitter, or you can go to our website at boardsalivepodcast.com. So
Yeah, and I would just like to say as well, when you said that you had your friend that you did your artwork for you, it's awesome artwork. I really like it. I remember when I first seen it, it was one of the things that grabbed me about it. I was like, "Well, that's just that's a really cool idea for the name of the podcast and stuff." But it's something I really enjoy,
yeah,
and art's quite important to me as well. So when I see nice artwork, it, I'm always really stoked for it.
yeah, my buddy Ryan did it, and he actually is a digital animator. Like he works for the company that does Club Penguin. Like
Oh, okay.
he's done a lot of stuff, so he gets paid to be good at that stuff. So yeah, he did a really good job with the art there. Is awesome. I should have it. I should have some sort of cool border like you guys do, but I mean I wasn't advanced technologically enough to set up some cool logo down in the corner of my my discussion window.
Yeah, don't worry. I also am not. I've been asking Georgie to tell me how to do this since we started, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know why you can't do it. I don't. I think it's just he wants his stuff on there."
Yeah, he's only advertising himself.
Right.
Yeah,
Aaron,
that,
quick question. In the bottom, like where I'm looking, bottom right, so I guess it's behind you to the left, that burlap sack, what in the world is that?
This came in.
please don't be a severed head. Please don't be a severed
No,
head.
no, no. This is my storage device. It says the Viking sack of loot. Does it look right way around for you guys? Because it's
Yeah,
backwards
yeah.
for me.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
then this one is the Dwarven bag of holding. They came in a I got like a battle bin sent to me from the battle bin guys. It's like these guys.
Okay.
And so that was one of the things in it. There's a really cool pint glass that had a beholder on it, but it's a beer holder, and it was
Nice.
like it was wearing one of those beer helmets, and it was like super wasted looking. It was awesome. It was the best thing in there for sure. I had got some other stuff in it, which was fine, whatever. But the mug or the pint glass was definitely the best thing there.
Yeah, that sounds like something I would cherish as well.
Yeah. So I actually store like the mail crap the mail slips that we use to send away like contest winner stuff is just stored in there.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I just saw it sent by. I thought maybe it was some sort of game that I hadn't heard of before.
No.
Speaking of cool stuff, actually, that we got in the mail, these arrived this morning. I was speaking to, I'm going to do like a full review of them. So I was speaking to the guys from Norse Foundry. Have you guys ever heard of those guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, and they sent me like a care package. So I don't know if you can see, so there's a dwarf pin badge, and then
That's cool.
a fighter pin badge. So like dwarf fighter kind of style.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
I got some like dwarven coins. I've got quite a lot of like metal coins kicking about now. I've not actually taken them out to have a look at. But the coolest thing I got was this aluminium set of precision RPG dice.
Yeah.
They are awesome.
Whoa, wow. Yeah.
See if I can get like a good. I don't know how good the actual camera is going to pick it up, but they are sweet and they're dense as well. I'm not even going to roll them because it's going to make such a racket on camera, but they're a really, really nice set of dice. So I'm going to do like a full review of them just to. I say a full review. I don't know how long a review of dice can actually be, but I'm going to do like an actual video of them with like high def pictures, high
I
def
think you
rolls.
should do a video where you're going to test how well balanced they are. And so it's just a video of you rolling each individual dice at least 100 times to test the percentages. I mean, think about it. You could probably roll, 100 times in, 100 seconds or so. So, I think it'd be riveting. Riveting.
I think it'd be rattling probably as opposed to.
Rattling. That's what I meant.
I bet there'd be a lot of noise in that video. But yeah, other than that, I'm super chuffed with them, and they're pretty sharp, to be honest.
They look real nice.
Well, the precision dice are like super tight corners so that it always rolls perfectly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they're super sweet. I really like them. So they will be getting used the next time any RPG is done, which I think is going to be sooner rather than later, actually.
Hey guys, I'll be right back. My boss is calling me for some reason.
Oh, okay, no worries.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Get out of here, boss. It's not work time. Jeez.
Yeah, hope he's getting paid for this call. So, what have you been playing anything recently? Anything that you've been enjoying?
Well, yeah. I mean, Quinten and I played. We played Cool Mini or Not's Arcadia Quest the other day because that's our big review that we're doing for our next episode. So on Friday we're recording. So we just wanted to get a fight against the boss of the whole campaign, which was interesting because it totally changed up the rules for it. There were no other quests. Normally in Arcadia Quest, you'll have like a variety of quests that you're putting out in each scenario, but this one only had one. It was just to defeat the main guy, and it literally put every single mini of monster in the game on the board. You used like all 9 tiles and all of the minis, and you just. It almost turned it into a cooperative game instead of a competitive game. Like, yeah, you were both trying to get to kill the guy because you got some coins for it, but there was it was less emphasis on the player versus player part because there was no quest to kill each other. I mean, I guess, but there were moments where Quentin was like, I don't really care to hit you. Let's just go slaughter this vampiric jerk. So
Quentin's a nice guy. That's why.
Yeah. I mean, he is a nice guy, and he does prefer to play cooperative. Not prefer to play cooperative games, but he loves cooperative games. So it kind of turned it into.
I hate to do this. I blame Georgie for this, for saying nothing else would go wrong. I'm on call right now, and I just got called in. So,
okay.
So, Aaron, fantastic to meet you. I'm going to send y'all a link of a game I just won through BoardGameLinks.com, and I'm not going to say anything about it, and you two can just discuss what you think about that. I just entered everything that was there, and this is the one I happened to win. So, enjoy talking about that game, and I'll talk to y'all later. So,
no problem. Catch you later, Baker.
All right, see you, Georgie.
See you, Baker.
How rude I was,
Jeez, what a guy.
I know. He gets
Invites
you
me
up the
onto
toilet.
his, onto the show and just leaves. What a jerk.
No, I'm sure we can handle it ourselves anyway. No worries. Yeah, sorry, you were talking about Arcadia Quest. I love Arcadia Quest. Sorry, carry on about it though. You were talking about slogging away with the big boss.
No, yeah, I mean, it was just an interesting twist, and it made he brought the death curses back in more heavily in that last round, right? So it kept death more troublesome, I guess, in that last, because I guess you could, because it's the last scenario of the whole campaign, you could just throw yourself wave after wave of just murdering yourself, and you feel like there's no consequence for it. So it made it have your death have consequence in that last scenario, right? So I mean, that was cool. We enjoy Arcadia Quest. Like, we'll go kind of like deep into all the different aspects it would be probably one of my favorite games right now. It's just, there's a lot going on. I'm in for the Kickstarter for Inferno.
Me too.
I put a lot into it for some reason, and that was I don't know. We'll see how bad my wife hates me for that.
Yeah, you were about to say huge mistake there, right?
Yeah, exactly. Except that the game is awesome, and I do really enjoy it, and I'm excited to have like so many more options to play with and stuff. So yeah. Other than that, I played a game called Naya from Blue Orange Games. It's a abstract game. I think it's by Bruno Cathala, and it's just a small game where essentially it's almost like tic-tac-toe, where there's a 4x4 grid of tiles on the board, and each tile has like one of two pieces of art on it. Like there's like stuff that's like pine needle or pine cones or cherry blossoms or irises or whatever. It's like 4 different types of fauna and 4 different types of flora, like plants and birds and stuff, and or I don't know, whatever. But there's each tile has 2 different things on it, and you pick a tile, and you place one of your cool little chunky chips on that spot, and then your opponent has to pick a tile from the board that also has one of the 2 symbols or whatever on their tiles. So the one that you used, they have to pick from that. And it's like this strategy where you're either trying to make like a line of 4 or a box of 4, or stop your opponent from even being able to take an action, kind of like cornering them. And it was really cool. It's a really interesting strategy game that's very easy to teach. I played it in my board game club that I run at my middle school. I just sat down and played it with a grade 7 kid, and he beat me 4 times in a row, which is pretty brutal. I felt pretty bad. And then he was like, "Oh man, this game is so awesome." Like, I'm the teacher librarian at my school, so we have a bunch of board games, and the kids can actually take them home. And Blue Orange Games was awesome. They sent us like 12 games at the start of the year that they donated. So this was one of them. And so he was so excited about the game that he actually took it and checked it out. And he's been taking it around to like all day yesterday. He was taking it to all his classes and like challenging kids and like teaching all these other kids, and they're all sitting around kind of learning it. And he's been bragging about how he kicked my ass. Like it's really cool. It's really cool to see, like, he's really excited about it. And so that's awesome. I mean, that's my whole goal, is to have these kids be super excited about board gaming. So It was cool.
Talking about abstract games, one of the other ones I played recently was Decadola. Have you heard of that one?
No.
It's sort of, you get like can't remember what by what with squares, but there's one side is white, completely white, and the other side is completely black, and they're double-sided tiles where on your turn, you draw 2 cards, or you always have 2 cards in your hand. You play one, and whatever symbol's on that card dictates what you can do. So you can either flip the tokens over to like your color, but they have to be touching your color already. So sometimes you can flip them over in an L shape. Sometimes you can flip them over any three as long as they're touching each other. Sometimes you can flip two in one direction or two in another. So it's quite card dictated as to what you actually do. But the main aim of the game is to get lines, so like get entire lines of your color, sort of horizontally, because you play across from each other. And once that's done, those lines are completely locked, so you can't change those back over. And that basically counts as a point. But if you get two lines in a row, which is harder than it sounds when people are playing other cards against you, and there's also a really annoying couple of cards in the deck called Devils, which basically mean lose a turn and do nothing. So once you get two lines together, you basically say I've got two lines, but because they're together, it's 2 times 2. So that's a 4-pointer, and then that's kind of how it's played. And you play it until I believe somebody's got 3 lines in total, or I need to double check that exactly, because I've been playing quite a lot of other games recently, so I'm just trying to remember the finishing one. But it's a really fun abstract game. I really enjoyed it. I should be doing a review of that pretty soon to show everyone exactly what it's about. It was Kickstarted. Now it's coming out to, well, I think it's going out to publishers, or they're going to be self-publishing it themselves for a while now. But it's really interesting. Decadola it's called. I'll send you a link afterwards, actually, because it sounds like something you might enjoy if you're into abstracts as well.
Cool. Yeah, for sure.
Somebody was asking in the chat if we were... James Wilson, or Breck, sorry, somebody that I know is asking about the other 7 sins and whether I've backed it. I've backed it, so I'm still waiting for it. It should be out this month. Did you check that one out at all, Aaron?
I didn't. Like, I know a lot about it. I know it's Eric Lang and Cool Mini or Not, and it's going to have minis flying out of every orifice. But but I'm not a big horror guy, and so like the minis and the theme in that, while it was very interesting, it just wasn't like something that was like driving home for me, something that I'd be into. I would definitely like to try it, and I would definitely review it and all that kind of stuff. It's just not something that I would necessarily have for my collection. I think I don't know. I just never grew up liking horror films or anything like that. I'm a huge wuss, I guess. So like, but I think the theme is really interesting, and I usually like the one versus many games. Those are sometimes hit and miss for me, or at least for my gaming group, because everyone feels bad if the not everyone, but people feel bad when the one guy wins. And so the one guy, sometimes I always feel like when I play Descent, that I'm trying to just have the other players have a good time, kind of like when I'm GMing an RPG, right? I'm not a GM that's like, I'm up against you guys and I'm going to make you have a bad time, or I'm trying to kill you. Like, I'm a GM that's like, I'm telling a story and you're telling that story with me. So when I'm playing those kinds of one versus many games, other than like a game like Scotland Yard or Letters from Whitechapel, where that's just straight up one person versus everyone, those like adventure games that are one versus many, when I'm the like overlord or whatever you want to call them, I'm less prone to just like really try and destroy everyone. And so that takes away from those types of games a bit. So I don't always like those ones.
Have you ever played it from the sides of like you being the adventurer and you versus the overlord, or we
played Imperial Assault, and that's Quinten's game. So Quinten was the oh my goodness, the Empire. Yeah, I can't believe that I just spaced on that. I'm literally wearing like a Star Wars shirt, and I can't think of. It's early, okay? My brain's still kicking into gear. No, so yes, I have played on that side, and I was not a fan of it, actually. We've got our end of the year show coming up, and we talk about like the most disappointing game that you've played this year, and that I think is going to be the one that I talk about, just because I love Star Wars so much, and people hyped it up and we played it fairly early on, but it just didn't feel right. Hey, what's up, buddy? I'm on a video chat. What are you doing? Do you want to come say hi? You look like totally not awake.
I'm still awake.
Okay. This is my son Benjamin. Benji, come say hi. You want to say hi? No? Okay. He's scared. He's gonna leave now. Can you close the door, please? Thanks, buddy. Yeah, my kids he'll be starting to stir now. So so Imperial Assault, I don't know, I feel bad because Quinten got it for Christmas and he's like started painting it, and it just did not land for our group. Like, I didn't really like it, my wife didn't really like it, our other buddy didn't really like it, and so I feel bad that I didn't enjoy it, you know? Like, I mean, I want to like it, and I just felt like it was imbalanced. Like, it was either one side or the other was going to crush in the scenario. And I felt the same issue with Descent. Yeah. Like, the scenarios are not super well, like, balanced. And so, yeah, I don't know. I feel uncomfortable saying it, but I didn't like it. And I'm super disappointed by it.
I see what you mean. It's very much like if... So let's just use Descent for an example. So like if the Adventurers win one, then the sort of phase two of that scenario, not like that scenario, but like that part of the story, it generally is pretty one-sided to the Adventurers because they've had the one up on the one before. I see where you're coming from with that, but at the same time, I kind of think the first missions that you do out of because you usually do them in pairs, right? So like the first ones that you do generally are kind of middle weighted, but then whoever wins and like on that side, generally then it goes heavily to whichever side. And like you said with the Overlord, if it goes his way and he just feels like in a crushing mood and just wants to play cards constantly on every turn and just destroy the players, it can be really difficult, and it can be overbearing, like especially if the dice aren't going your way because it's quite luck based as well. It can be overbearing, but I guess it's part and parcel of playing those kind of bigger adventure games that don't have the flexibility of RPGs. So you know, there's never like you can do anything. There's always this constriction of what you can actually do, independent of what the dice say, independent of what cards you have. But I think they're still trying to create that environment. You know, like give people the feeling of being an adventurer, going through a dungeon and killing a dragon. That's what a lot of people still want the feeling of, but they really want it in a board game form as opposed to like just like a role playing. Yeah, I think people really want to play that board game form, but it's really hard to get it on cardboard as opposed to paper because it's not just your imagination; it's rules and.
And my biggest thing is that in the end, for both of those games, instead of Descent, I'd rather just play Dungeons and Dragons. Instead of Imperial Assault, I'd rather just play one of the Fantasy Flight games like Edge of the Empire or Force and Destiny or whatever. Like it is a light version of an RPG, but because of all those rule structures, I don't feel like I can be a true adventurer and kind of just do my own thing, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, a lot of people describe them as like hack and slash or what's the other one? What's that? There's another term that people use, beer and pretzel. So it's not to be taken too seriously, I guess. And but sometimes I feel like with Descent, it's such a slog to set it up, and it's so like some of the maps, particularly in the expansions, are so big that you can't help but try and take it a little bit seriously because you've spent like the last hour and a half finding all the pieces and setting it all up, and then once you've got it set up, you know, you just kind of want to get in and just go for it and just find a weapon, hack and slash, you know, like just try and hit everything as hard as you can. And there is also that like feeling of disappointment when you don't hit it as hard as you want to, particularly if it's like a bigger monster, you just want to kill it.
Yeah. And that's why I like Arcadia Quest, which is, you can't see it because it's up higher, but I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm pointing at nothing. But that's why I like that, because if I want to just hack and slash, Arcadia Quest has a little bit of story at the start of each one, and the stories are quite funny. Like there's these little silly jokes and kind of stuff, and then you get into it and you get to beat the crap out of each other and beat the crap out of the monsters. And so that's what I get out of that game without all of the rules heaviness, because it's so quick to learn and so easy to set up. And it's only like a 45-minute to an hour long scenario. Like it just encapsulates all of those things that you're describing, what Descent is trying to be, and just does it in a tighter package.
Yeah. I think the only thing, well, with Arcadia as well, I guess it doesn't scare you either, being the wish that you are, with the little chibi characters, right? So
yeah, they're all cartoonified. I'm not terrified of the big bad monsters, because they're like, oh, he's so cute with his big old cow face or whatever, you know.
I don't know. Sometimes the no pupil thing kind of scares me. I feel like they're all just like staring at you like crazily. But other than that, yeah, Inferno. I was just going to say another thing about it. Jason in the chat has said that he's blown about $250 on the Inferno box. So I believe he's got the full dragon package, the pets package, and I presume you're the same there, Aaron. Have you picked up pretty much everything for it? Or?
I didn't do everything because I felt like anything that was not a Kickstarter exclusive, I could pick up post at probably at least, because when it went off, it was a time where, I mean, the Canadian dollar still sucks, but our dollar is like, it wasn't a good time for me to be like going super heavy that way. So yeah. I picked up a lot of the stuff that I didn't think would be easy to get aftermarket. So like I got the engraved tiles, and the like dice bags and all those kinds of, like all the little silly, I just wanted to have my game like as pimped out as possible. So I got all of those like additions, and because I missed the first Kickstarter, I got like some of the stuff to add to my base game, because I didn't get that. We got a review copy from Cool Mini or Not, but they got their money's worth back from me going in on this Kickstarter for shoot. So like it was just, I think I did about 180 US for it, and that was like including, I didn't buy any extra heroes because there's like 25 that come as Kickstarter bonuses. So I didn't buy any of those, and I didn't buy any of the dragons because they gave you a dragon, and I didn't buy the pets expansion because I knew that I could pick that one up through our online game store that we buy from and stuff like that. So it was still a lot of money. It was still a lot of money, but it was more manageable because of that. So
basically what you're saying is, if the Canadian dollar was doing well, if ever, you would have basically blown the lot and got everything.
Probably, yeah. If it was more comparable, it definitely would have been something that I would have bought. Like the nice thing about the store that I buy from is like the American full retail price is, I would be paying that price, but in Canadian dollars, which is like one American dollar is like 1.5 Canadian right now. So it's a lot more. So I have to be a lot more picky with my purchases right now, with how bad in the last like 6 to 9 months, how bad it's gotten. Yeah. So it's made me be a more informed consumer again. So that's good, I guess.
As opposed to just a random splurger who just kind of goes, oh, I like the sound of that, buy this, buy that. Yeah, then you end up with a big shelf of games, right?
Yeah, it's there's a lot. So
like as far as your podcast and things goes, how do you guys, like, is there a way that you guys can pick up like how many listeners you have? Is there like
the program that we do, our hosting site is through Liberated Syndicate, Libsyn, and it's a good hosting site. It gives you stats, and depending on what level you pay, you can get better stats. So like for the first year or so, we just got very basic stats. Like we had download numbers, so we could see, the slow rise of numbers, and it was a slow build over the first few months, but we got going pretty good. The one thing that really helped us was we did an interview with John Gilmore and Isaac Vega in episode 10, and that really kickstarted like our people kind of finding us and connecting with us and stuff. But now we because we've added the third podcast every month, we had to expand the bandwidth that we were using, and so we get more specific stats. So like I can tell now that the majority of our listeners are from the US, and specifically North America. I mean, mostly we're getting English speaking people, but we don't have a huge audience in the UK. We have some friends that we have in Australia, but we don't have a huge draw in Australia or New Zealand either. Like it's smaller, but the majority of our downloads come, probably about 70% would come from the US. So it's a big chunk. Even as Canadians, only about 18% of our downloads are coming from Canada, which is interesting. So we're trying to get the word out and still trying to grow. A little while ago, we kind of hit like a lull in downloads, and kind of we were getting about the same over and over and over, and it's picked up again since just before Christmas kind of thing, and we're growing. Last month in February was actually the biggest month we've ever had, where we had almost 4,000 downloads of like all of our stuff combined kind of thing. So it was good. I mean, we're definitely not the biggest podcast out there. We're growing, and we're a good size. Like we're happy with what we get, and we get good support from publishers, and we have sponsors that have been very supportive of the show to help us expand. Like we bought some new mics recently, and like kind of like just try and improve our setup a bit, and that all comes from running our sponsorships, and we're able to not have to pay out of pocket. Like the first year of the podcast, I had to pay for all of our hosting fees. I had to buy the mic, all that kind of stuff. And so it's nice to be able to have some money to kind of cover those costs, because my wife was like, hey, this is cool, this is nice, and it's cool, you get free games and all that kind of stuff, but you're spending all of this money to run this show, and you're also spending all this time to do it away from me and all that kind of stuff. So so I was like, okay, well, we'll see if we'll reach out to some publishers and some companies and see if they would be interested in supporting us. And we made a really good connection with Patrick from Crash Games, or I guess it's Crash of Games now, at PAX when we went way back like a year and a half ago, and he's been really supportive of our show ever since, and so he's our main sponsor now, and that'll probably be for quite a long time until, I don't know, I say something stupid and he hates me forever, which I don't think he's a pretty thick-skinned dude, so I don't think that's gonna happen. So
on you go.
So I mean, it's podcasting, it's great. We get about almost 1,000 downloads per episode of the main show. We get, like, it depends on the other shows. Like the RPG show, we get about 500, and the Boards Live Monster Mashup, we get about 600-ish. They're just not as, people aren't used to those ones as much, and they definitely both have a different feel. And so if that's not someone's interest, then that's cool. It's not a big deal.
I think the main thing is, as long as you're having fun doing it, as long as you're enjoying what you're doing still, and it never becomes too much of a burden or a stress or anything like that. And the quality of the stuff that you put out is great. It really is. And it's fun as well, though. It's not all serious or anything like that. A lot of it's fun, and it gives the impression, I know like you and Quinten are obviously good friends, but even when you've got the guests on, it gives the impression you guys all just really enjoy having the chats together. And like you said, when you get a couple of guys together that just love talking, it does make for a good show. It really does. So you guys are doing great with that. So
Yeah, it's been. I said that. I don't know if I said this on air or not, but it's definitely become my favorite part. Like, free games is really cool. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that kind of stuff is really cool. But the best part has been being able to make connections with people, like hanging out with you guys right now. Well, not Baker because he's a jerk and he bailed on us. But like the opportunity that we've had, like John Gilmore was just on for the third time. Like he recorded with us for our RPG show, which we did. Like, we also hung out with Marty from Rolling Dice and Taking Names and Sean from the Dukes of Dice. So like the five of us sat down over Skype and played The End of the World, The Wrath of the Gods. And we just sat around and recorded and made jokes and had a good time. Like, we just recorded with Donald Schultz from Bored with Life on Tuesday night. And he was like a ton of fun, just like hanging out and telling jokes and being silly. Like, we've hung out with some awesome people. We've made some really cool connections. The guys at Greater Than Games, like we demoed for them at PAX, and we wouldn't have had those opportunities if we hadn't created this podcast. And those things are the best part. They're so much fun to do, and the people in this hobby are so fantastic. Like, I just love, like, one of our friends that's in our gaming group now, we met through the podcast, our buddy Brody. Like, he's a guy that we hang out with like fairly often now, and just because we do this show, and he randomly stumbled on it. And so, I mean, that's definitely been the best part, is just connecting with people, hanging out. And we wish that we could get to more conventions so that we could like connect with more people. It's just so hard because you probably feel our pain because you can't fly across the pond to get to like Gen Con and stuff like that. So yeah, like those kinds of things are something that we're definitely missing out on, and we will be going at some point, but still, just being able to do these conversations and talk to people on Twitter and interact that way and all that kind of stuff, it's fantastic. I love it. And it just makes all of our work worthwhile.
Yeah. I mean, I am a very social person anyway, but having this outlet to do it as well as like my normal outlets is just awesome. And like you said, my very favorite thing about doing anything like this is networking, meeting people, talking to people. It's been awesome, and it's just a blast. It really is. And like you said, everyone is so nice, friendly, willing to help, willing to chat. Just looking, I think it's because like in most cities, regardless of how big it is, you still struggle to find people that share the same passion, like for board games, as I think a lot of us do who are in the media community. And yeah, like you said, as far as like conventions go, we'd love to hit some of those ones up in America. It's just the travel. It's so hard. It really is. However, I will be at the UK Games Expo this year. So if anyone who's there sees me, come and say hello, just say hi. And I'm pretty much up for playing games, hopefully winning games against anyone. So yeah, just give me a shout.
Yeah, we're trying to make it to PAX Prime again this year. We're trying to work it out. My wife works quite a lot in the summer because I'm a teacher, so she tries to do that. And it's actually the weekend right before we start classes again in the fall. So it's like a really tight time frame. So we're trying to make it work again this year because it's so cheap for us. Like, I mean, Quinten and I, the first time we went, I think it was $300 or $400 for the entire trip. Because we just drive down, we stayed in a fairly cheap hotel. We got free passes because we were demoing for Greater Than Games and stuff. So it was quite cheap. And we bought like bread and sandwich meat and ate that. Because we were demoing games, we actually got a free lunch every day from the PAX like coordinators and stuff. So we actually went super cheap, and it was a ton of fun. We'd love to do it again. It's just a matter of being able, like, again, like I said earlier, the two kids and stuff, like Benji showing up. I mean, those kinds of things. make it a little more challenging. I mean, I'm not gonna complain because my kids are awesome and stuff like that, but yeah, it just makes it a little more challenging. So
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Well, I'm just looking at the time, and as much as I think we could just keep going, Aaron, I really do, but it's about 3 minutes to when you've got to bail. So I think
Yeah.
before you bail, I would like to just say thank you for everything that you've done today, coming on, just having a chat, and I would like you to just give us a little outro, just one more plug of everything that you do, and just where everyone can find you.
For sure. Thank you very much for having me on. It was really cool. I definitely didn't mind getting up. Once like you said, once I get going, I could talk for hours about board games. It's such a passion, right? And it's just taken up almost my whole world. Any free time I have, let's say, because I don't want to say it takes up my whole world. I hope my wife's not listening in on me making that comment, because they're my whole world, and my job takes up some time. But then the rest of it is filled with all this. But yeah, so you can find us at boardsalivepodcast.com. We have our main show that we do twice a month, and then every other month we're either doing the monster mashup, where you get a variety of voices, and we're trying, that show is all about comedy, at least, or like trying to be silly and funny, even more so than our main show, because our main show is pretty silly, but but like trying, like we have our buddy Nick Mariner does like essentially a comedy, like his stand-up comedy, but for focused on board games and board game lifestyle and stuff like that. And we get like the Dukes of Dice do like a movie thing, and all the just silly stuff. So that show's kind of more silly. And then we have our RPG campaign that we're doing. So like I said, we just started the End of the World, the Fantasy Flight system, and it's the Wrath of the Gods one. So in our first episode, we kind of teach the game and do character creation, and then we play for about half an hour, and we don't actually let you know what scenario of the 5 we're doing in the first episode, which I was like, that's good, I guess. Keeps them guessing. So that was cool. But so you can find us all there. My wife and I actually just started doing, we did our first video review. We haven't posted it yet because I'm trying to get like some intro stuff all organized, but it was mainly for me to test out some stuff to be able to teach some video editing stuff in school. And so we sat down and did a video that will probably be hitting YouTube at some point in the next a couple weeks or month. Like my end is all done. I just need some intro work done. So hey, I have a buddy that's working on it, but if anybody wants to do some sort of intro for us, please email me at boardsalive@live.com. You can get me on Twitter, or Quinten and I on Twitter at boardsalive. You can find our BGG guild, which is guild number 2002, and we've got some discussions going there, and we try and interact and get people to voice some ideas about the show on there. We get some people that we just posted a thread about asking us questions. We're running another Q&A session on one of the podcasts coming up, and my wife's going to be on that episode. So we're calling it Q&A with Q&A and L this time, because it was always Q&A because Quinten and Aaron. So you can throw up we'll answer any questions. Like Baker threw up like 5 or 6 different questions for us, and some of them are ridiculous because it's Baker. And so you can go on there. You can go on Facebook and give us hearts on board game links and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, please check out our show, because we're pretty stupid, and it's a fun time.
Yeah. I agree. Go check out their show. It's awesome. Everything that I've heard is awesome, and that monster mashup thing you do is funny, and it's like you said, it's sillier than your show, but it's still awesome. And I love the Baker. Baker's done a few of those contributions as well, and
yeah,
I believe he has an arch nemesis now as well through that.
Yeah, yeah. If you haven't listened to any of them, go listen to the last episode. Nick Mariner requests nemesis, and then if you go to our Board Game Geek Guild, or if you go to Baker's channel, Baker has this like nemesis video that he created, which was hilarious. Oh my goodness, I died laughing. It was such a good video, and it was just such a simple little 3-minute video that he obviously spent like a good amount of time kind of coming up with, but it was hilarious. It was really funny. I died laughing when I watched that. It was so good.
It was perfect. I really really loved it. I was the same. I was just laughing my head off because I listened to the like Nick talk about it, and then I watched Baker's video and I was just in stitches. Like, oh, crazy. Anyway, I'm gonna have to let you go. I think I've kept you later than it is. So, guys, thanks again for watching. As usual, you can find me at Beards and Boards on Twitter or subscribe to me on YouTube at Beards and Board Games. Other than that, I hope everyone's having an awesome week. We'll probably have another name in progress vidcast coming up probably in a month or so. We've got a few guests lined up as well, so I'm not going to say anything else until we exactly know what's going to be happening. Other than that, I think we should leave you with a random question of, if Cthulhu took over the world, what cereal would you eat? I'll let you guys comment on that. Catch you guys later.